Good morning. I am Reverend Aaliyah Kemmler, minister of First Parish Church of Groton, Massachusetts. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to the sanctuary. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to this world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all people. So whoever you are, whatever country you come from, whoever you love, whatever you've done, whatever your beliefs, abilities, challenges, or gifts, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome right here. Our congregation welcomes and includes a wide diversity of beliefs. So I invite you to freely translate the language you hear in today's service. Our spiritual community is vibrant here in Groton, Massachusetts, and with members and friends across the continent. And if you would like more information about First Parish, about upcoming programs, events, or small groups, you can email us at welcome@uugroton.org, and we would be delighted to get you connected. We have learned through the pandemic that our sanctuary is not confined to this room or to any place at all. We create it together in so many ways, and we are doing that again now. Today, we invite children of all ages to join religious education with Cynthia and Liz after the story. We'll put the Zoom link in the chat and remind you when it is time. If you are able to support our congregation with a financial donation in any amount, please know how grateful we are. You can visit our website, www.uugroton.org, and click on the donate button at any time. And also know that your membership in this community will never be measured by your ability to donate financially. But in order to keep creating church, we do need all of us to donate time and talent. We welcome you to sign up as a welcomer, a chalice lighter, a greeter. You can do this from home. And the link to sign up for all the things will be in the chat, or you can find it in our church-wide weekly emails. Thanks today to Sean McCann, Director of Music Ministries, to today's cantor, Michelle Stiller, and to Melissa Wood, who is on tech this morning here in the sanctuary, along with Donna Nowak and Lorraine Scampini, who are greeting online. Thank you to you all. All are invited to coffee hour following the service on Zoom. If you're here on Sunday morning, please say hello in the chat. Let us know you are here so we can welcome you by name. But whenever and from wherever you are joining us, come in. Rest for a while here. Receive hope and strength. You are so welcome. So I will call us into worship now. I invite you into this time of sanctuary we are creating across distance and screens. I ask you to remember that you are held in love, that you are seen and known as beloved by that love which holds and knows us all. And as has become our tradition, I will ring the meditation bell 3 times. So this first bell and good deep breath is for you. And the second bell is for all of the ones you love. And the third bell is for our beautiful, hurting world. So now let's sing together our opening hymn. Michelle will lead us, and we will do our best to post the lyrics in the chat as we go so that you can sing along. Morning has come.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope will shine upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey on. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. One who feels this moment shine together. The light of peace will shine upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey on. Open our eyes to see that love abides. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of peace will shine upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey on.
Yeah, I wonder if I lost it.
You probably did.
As many of you know,
I had written it
Thich Nhat
here.
Hanh died yesterday morning. He was a Zen Buddhist teacher and leader, an activist, an author,
Well,
a
let me type it in and then
peacemaker, and the founder of Buddhist communities around the world. He taught and really began a movement around what is called engaged mindfulness, an incredibly practical, daily way of applying Buddhist principles to everyday life for all kinds of people. He also believed that mindfulness isn't just for ourselves. It helps us to relieve the suffering of those around us and to treat ourselves and everyone with compassion. He wrote and spoke very simply, and his words went deep. Today, Zoe, Cora, and Matt Swatters are going to light the chalice with some words by Thich Nhat Hanh.
These words are by the spiritual leader Thich Nhat Hanh. They don't publish the good news. The good news is published by us. We have a special edition every moment, and we need to read it. The good news is that you are alive, and the linden tree is still there, standing firm in the harsh winter. The good news is that you have wonderful eyes to touch the blue sky. The good news is that your child is there before you, and your arms are available. Hugging is possible. They only print what is wrong. Look at each of our special editions. We always want the things that are not wrong. We want you to benefit from them and help protect them. The dandelion is there by the sidewalk, smiling its wondrous smile, singing the song of eternity. Listen, bow your head, listen to it. Leave behind the world of sorrow and being too busy and get free. The latest good news is that you can do it. We light the chalice today for all the good news.
Right, now let Max come through.
Right, and then clap your hands and the chalice will light. 1, 2, 3. And now hand it to Leah. Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe, Cora, and Max. So we will light the chalice today in the sanctuary for all the good news, including the sweetness of children. And now let's sing together our response, Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade. We sing it first in Spanish and then in English, and the words will be in the chat, so please sing along with Michelle.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, y el corazón cántale tu compasión. Sube el amor, alza la justicia de la vida. Arráigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Love in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
So now I would like to talk to the children. First, let's say our words for gathering and do the motions with me. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds that think, hearts that love, and hands ready to help. So Thich Nhat Hanh loved teaching children about how to be just where you are and how you are right now. Children are better at this than most adults because you already know how to pay attention to what is happening all around you. Adults can get very busy paying attention to what has already happened and to wishing that things were different or thinking about what is going to happen. Thich Nhat Hanh taught people that what is happening right now in this moment is really, really important. Because if we pay attention to what is happening right now, it helps us to feel peaceful inside. And if we're peaceful inside, we can help others to feel peaceful too. And he taught that the best way to pay attention was to use your senses, whichever ones that you have, to look and to listen and to smell and to taste and to feel what is all around you and what is inside you. He also taught children how to meditate, which is a way of paying attention to our breathing when we are sitting or walking and can help us to feel calm and peaceful inside. And so one of the ways that Thich Nhat Hanh taught meditation to children was with something called a pebble meditation. And I'm going to teach it to you today. And all you need for this are 4 small rocks or pebbles. I'm not sure if these are rocks or pebbles. I think they're small rocks. And it doesn't matter what kind of rocks you have, as long as they feel nice in your hand. So maybe today you can go outside and look around under the snow for 4 rocks, or maybe you have some in your house that you can use. So the first thing you do is to put down the 4 pebbles and take some good deep breaths. And then you pick up the first pebble, and this pebble represents a flower. And you hold the flower pebble in your hand and you breathe, and you say to yourself, breathing in, I am a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. When we are really present, then we feel fresh and joyful and alive inside. Breathing in, flower. Breathing out, fresh. And you can do that for as long as you like. And then when you're ready, you put the first pebble down and you pick up the second pebble. And this pebble is the mountain pebble. So I chose one that has kind of a peak on the top. It looks a little bit like a mountain. Mountains are solid and still and very strong. So we hold this one in our hands and we say, breathing in, I am a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. In, mountain. Out, solid. When we touch the mountain inside of us, we feel strong. And whatever emotions we might be feeling won't knock us over because we are stable like a mountain. And you do that for as long as you like, and then you put that pebble down. And you pick up the third pebble, which is for water. And so I chose one that's very, very smooth. When water is still and calm, it is clear and it reflects things as they are. Still water is like a mirror. So you hold this one and you say, breathing in, I am water. Breathing out, I reflect things as they are. In water, out, reflecting. When our minds are calm, like still water, we can see things clearly and understand them better. So you can breathe with the water pebble until you're ready to put it down, and pick up the fourth pebble, which is for space. And I chose one that's kind of light, a little bit clear, like space. And this pebble is for freedom, because when we feel space inside of ourselves, our minds can be open and wide like the sky. So we hold the space pebble and we say, breathing in, I am space. Breathing out, I feel free. In, space, out, free. And then when you're ready, you can put that pebble down. So anytime we feel angry or sad, we can pick up the flower pebble and remember how to feel freshness. If we are afraid, we can pick up the mountain pebble and remember how to feel strong. If we are confused and all sorts of things are swirling around in our minds, we can pick up the water pebble and feel still. And if we feel frustrated or bored or stuck, like we can't do what we want, we can pick up the space pebble and remember how to feel free. And Thich Nhat Hanh taught that you can put all 4 of your pebbles in a little pouch or bag and keep them with you so that you can practice meditating with them at any time. That is the Pebble Meditation. So now I would like to invite children of all ages to join Cynthia and Liz for religious education on Zoom. We will put the link in the chat. And now Barbara Rich is going to share a poem she wrote for us.
I'm calling this Before and During. Meditation and self-care sound so inviting, so healthy and useful. And yet when it comes to living in the present, just being mindful of the me while being true to the we, it's harder than hard, and we give up. The incessant thoughts take over. That train of thoughts booms loudly, closing out the laughter of children, or the bird song, or the whistling of the tea kettle. And we miss the next stop while we're on that train of thoughts. We don't get off at the next station. That train, which carries us humans from judgments to assumptions to self-doubt to blame, shame, and guilt, it makes us weary. It eclipses wise decisions. It takes us to places where we've been many, many times. While on that train of thoughts, we might catch a glimpse of another way. We might listen for the train slowing down, see passengers disembarking, and watch ourselves get off that train. Only then can we hold close the me while offering goodness to the we. It's a practice like any other practice. Over time, now and then, we find relief from the chatter. For a few precious breaths and a few mundane, precious moments, there's a tiny bit of acceptance and the ability to be at peace with not being at peace.
Thank you, Barbara. If you are here on Sunday morning, this is the time in our service when we are invited to share our joys and our sorrows, our concerns and celebrations with one another in the chat, either on Zoom or YouTube. Whatever you are carrying today, whether it feels heavy or light, I hope you will share it with us so we can celebrate with you, carry it with you, or pray with you. And if you are here at another time, I invite you to speak out loud these things or imagine holding them like pebbles in your hands and then gently letting them go. So let's take some time as Michelle sings the meditation to share our joys and our sorrows, our celebrations, our concerns, and our prayers with one another.
There There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
So we'll begin in prayer with Julia Fehrenbacher's poem called The Cure for It All. Go gently today. Don't hurry or think about the next thing. Walk with the quiet trees. Can you believe how brave they are? How kind. Model your life after theirs. Blow kisses at yourself in the mirror, especially when you think you've messed up. Forgive yourself for not meeting your unreasonable expectations. You are human, not God. Praise fresh air, clean water, good dogs. Open a window, even if it's cold. Sit. Close your eyes, breathe, allow the river of it all to pulse through you. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe until you feel your bigness, until the sun rises in your veins. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. So let's breathe together and remember that we are enough. This moment is enough. And we can rest in the love that holds us even now. And let us hold in prayer the joys and the sorrows, the longings and the hopes of this gathered community. Those which have been shared in writing and these. We send prayers of love and comfort to Wendy and Jean's friend Barry. Prayers of recovery and healing for Jim and Trish, for Katie and Lois, for our sexton Joe, and for all in our community and families who have COVID. Let's pray for all parents and children who are struggling to ride the endless waves of this pandemic, and for all who work in healthcare and take care of others, for strength for them, for Kathleen, for Grace, for David. And let us also give thanks today. Let us give thanks for all that brings us strength and joy, for the fact that we are here on this bright winter morning, for the faces and the voices of the ones we love. So let us be in quiet for just a little time together and breathe. So Michelle will sing for us now. This is a beautiful song by Carolyn McDade called Rising Green, and it is about how even now spring is preparing itself.
My blood doth rust in the roots of yon oak. A sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul, like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My side as deep as the sea. Lifting my heart like the raptures of old, that us last eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on a far distant side. Singing my song is the wind of my breast, and my love moves over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love moves over the land. My foot carries chains of the old into new. Our dreaming shows us the way. Hundreds of feet set us deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day.
So the other morning, I lost my keys outside Dunkin' Donuts. Where else? I spent some quality time in the freezing cold searching for them. I checked all of my pockets multiple times. I looked through my purse. I looked on the ground all around the car. I went back inside the Dunkin' Donuts to see if I'd left them on the counter. My hands were full of various things, including my giant cup of coffee. So I started to put everything down on the roof of the car so I could search better. And I realized the keys were in my hands. I lost my keys while I was holding them. This is how distracted I am on a good morning. Now, maybe I'm fooling myself, but I like to think I'm not alone. There are a lot of things to be distracted by always, but maybe especially now. And I know the truth of the wise teachings of the teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh among them, that the present moment is all we have. I know that be here now is the answer to so many things. This moment is all we have. Right here in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot in the cold. The key is already in our hands, as near as this breath and the next. But frankly, I'm not always thrilled with the present moment. The present moment is sometimes uncomfortable. The present moment is 20 months into a worldwide pandemic when there is so much wrong in this world. It's hard to be content. I receive a weekly email letter from Reverend Nadia Boltz-Weber, who is a cranky, hilarious, heavily tattooed and completely unexpected Lutheran minister. And this very week in her letter, she talked about her own satisfaction or lack thereof, and how this pandemic time keeps offering her the same damn lesson over and over and over again, a lesson she doesn't want and is having a hard time learning about accepting what we can't change and finding the goodness and the joy in what is happening right now. She writes, "My friend Phil used to tell a story about how he was broke and needed to buy a car, but he only had $500. Then one day he found one. He found a $500 car on Craigslist, and on the phone, the seller indicated that it was a blue Toyota, banged up, but in working condition. And my friend Phil joked, 'Oh, it's blue? I was really wanting a red one. God, give me a red $500 car and I will be satisfied.'" Nadia Boltz-Weber goes on, "I found myself spending a lot of time daydreaming about, well, everything. About walking the Camino again, about finally moving out of my apartment and into a house, about getting into shape, which is really just code for somehow managing not to be 52 years old, like doing whatever has to be done in order to be 40 again. Daydreaming about checking out airfare to exciting places. I'm buying clothes online that I have to return because they are clothes that would fit the 40-year-old me. And there's nothing particularly wrong with any of these except for the time travel body idea. It's just that it keeps me from enjoying my actual life." I mention this because I've been thinking about the connection between acceptance and satisfaction, and wondering in what ways do I assume my satisfaction is somewhere else, in some future time, in a different situation, and with different people. And how does this keep me from experiencing the gift of what happens to already be in front of me? Meaning, if I cannot find satisfaction in anything I don't already have, then why in the world do I think I can find it in anything I don't already have? Meaning, maybe satisfaction is only possible not by getting exactly everything I imagine would bring me satisfaction, but by first accepting the parts of life I cannot change. Accepting the parts of myself I cannot change. Accepting the people I cannot change, which, if you are keeping score at home, the number of people I can't change equals all the people. She then goes on to explain that, of course, she doesn't mean that we should be satisfied with abuse or injustice, or that we should stop trying to grow. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean not caring. It doesn't mean not doing the things we believe in. Acceptance is the honest acknowledgement of actual reality. And the actual reality is that there is a lot we cannot control. But actual reality, as Nadia Boltz-Weber also says, is the place where actual joy can be found. She says, if we delay joy until some preferred future, we set ourselves up for despair. But if there is hope in this day, joy to be found in this reality, in this life, in this body, in this breath, in this moment, in this heart. Well, that changes everything. For me, there's always been this tension between the idea that we need to live in the present moment and that what we need, all we need, is already right here, and the reality that so many people live in, that they don't have all they need, that they don't have safe housing, they don't have enough to eat. And systemic racism and pervasive injustice are real, and people are suffering in this moment. And how is my breathing going to change any of it? Well, this is where the brilliance of Thich Nhat Hanh and his incredibly practical version of engaged mindfulness bridges that gap, at least for me. Engaged mindfulness is about how we live. It's about how we treat ourselves and one another and the earth itself. It's about how we eat and work and move through the world. Engaged mindfulness has translated the fundamentals of the Buddha's teaching into 5 practices, or what Thich Nhat Hanh calls mindfulness trainings. And they are these: practicing reverence for all of life, which means denouncing violence, practicing generosity and justice, practicing respectful mutual relationships, practicing deep listening and compassionate speech, and practicing mindful or careful consumption of resources. And when you read about these in Thich Nhat Hanh's words, they are all about compassion. They're about equity. They're about living lightly upon this earth. They're about helping to alleviate the suffering around us. And they all begin with the breath. Because Thich Nhat Hanh believes that if we settle ourselves, if we calm ourselves, if we come back to ourselves, and if we find compassion for our own suffering, then we find compassion for the suffering of others. And we need to do this over and over and over again. But the good news is that we can start over every breath. Last Sunday, I talked about religious mysticism and how the one thing that all forms of mysticism have in common is this belief in the oneness of everything, including God. This beautiful idea that the holy or God or the sacred, however you define or understand that, is not separate from us. We are in God and God is in us. And today, I think I'm talking about a sort of mysticism of time. That the holy or God or the sacred, however you define it, is never separate from this moment. There's a beautiful line in the 46th Psalm that you've probably heard before. It goes, "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am." There is a presentness, a closeness, a presence of the sacred that we can experience when we are still. God is right here, right now, as close as our breathing and in the midst of everything. The keys are already in our hands. So our closing hymn is a meditation on stillness called Winds Be Still. And Michelle will lead us, and I hope that you will sing along.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Please grace this time with harmony. Blackbird of over, childlike of love, come little flock, tranquility. Bird fly on, lift our gaze toward distant view, near us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and low, lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shining, illuminate our inward view. Help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join ourselves in whose earth shall become mortal symphony.
Thank you, Michelle, for beautiful song leading today, and also for wonderful tech, which is hard to do. If you are local to Groton, I hope that you will join members of our community for the weekly Black Lives Matter Vigil at noon, which is a new time, noon, on the common in front of the church. And I hope that all will stay for coffee hour on Zoom following the postlude music. If you are on Zoom, you just need to stay right where you are. And if you are on YouTube, the link to get into coffee hour will be in the chat, and we would love to see you there. But for now, will you put a hand over your heart, and with the other, let's reach out to one another and know that we are connected, we are tied together by strong and sturdy threads of love. Go in peace. You be a blessing to this world.